Are your zaps just not zapping like you want them to? Hey there, it's Tom from XRay.tech, where we're all about making workflows smoother than ever. If you've dabbled in apps like Zapier and Make, you might have hit a wall trying to take your automations to the next level. You know those moments where you're staring in disbelief at yet another error message because your automation can't find the right data? Yeah, we've all been there. But fear not, there's a reliable technique that can untangle those automation woes and help you build better, more consistent workflows. It's all about diving into the world of no-code databases, particularly in apps like Airtable and SmartSuite, and that's exactly what we're going to take a look at today. Now, before we jump in, if you're curious about what else we do at XRay or want more tips like these, head over to our website at xray.tech. And hey, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that little bell so you don't miss a new way to save time. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how leveraging an operational database in Airtable or SmartSuite can revolutionize your approach to automations, and will let you build systems that support multiple teams and departments. As we go along, I'll share some real-world examples from our own workflow toolkit. Now let's get started. If you're getting frustrated with Zapier or Make, you're not alone. Every day we hear from people who are struggling to connect their apps the way they want to with these no-code automation providers. The issue often boils down to one thing: linear design. Zapier, Make, IFTTT, Power Automate, all of these platforms advertise their products like this. When an event happens in one app, perform an action in another app. But this whole when A, then B setup is just the beginning. And if you keep trying to use it for every automation, you'll quickly find that it becomes limiting. For example, let's say you want to build an automation that creates a task in Asana or any other task management app whenever you add an emoji to a Slack message. Your first instinct will likely be to set up a classic when A, then B automation. It's easy enough to set up a trigger in Zapier or Make that watches for new emoji reactions. Then, you can add an action that creates a task in your preferred software. But you don't have a lot of useful dynamic data to work with here. For instance, how do you reliably attach the task to the appropriate project? The title of the channel might be a good place to start, but the title of your marketing channel in Slack might not exactly match your marketing project name in your task management app. So adding a search step based on this data wouldn't be a very reliable approach. A single mismatched hyphen or underscore would just throw the whole thing off. And what if you want to automatically create tasks from multiple sources, like emails or forms? If you want to avoid building redundant automations, you'll need to start messing around with things like subzaps or webhooks, which can get a little complicated. There are many ways you could potentially solve automation design problems like these, but after 8 years of building no-code automations, there's one technique that clearly stands out. The trick is to connect all of your automations to what we at XRay call an operational database, or ODB. Yeah, it sounds a little fancy. It sounds a little jargony, but this isn't just smoke and mirrors. A well-designed operational database is honestly the single most important asset you'll create as you're building automations in the long term. It will enable automations that support your entire team with the dynamic data that Zapier, Make, and other similar platforms struggle to find on their own. Let me show you how it works and how it can fix all of these problems I've outlined and more. So here's an example of an ODB that you could use to support the task creation automations we've been talking about. This is a pretty simple no-code database built in Airtable, which is what we typically use at XRay. You can accomplish something very similar with SmartSuite as well, although you'll have a few different options for fields and view types. If you'd like me to show you how to use an operational database with SmartSuite, just let me know in the comments. Ultimately, the specific app you use doesn't matter too much. What's important here is that this database is a repository for all of the information that our automations use. We can use it to match usernames to emails and IDs in various apps, their job role, and a lot more. That way, we can create truly dynamic automations that suit an entire team instead of just an individual. We can assign tasks or send messages to anyone with a single automation because all of the info is right here. So let's return to our Slack Task Maker workflow. By supporting the automation with an ODB, we can make sure that every task is assigned to the right person and connected to the right project. In this table, we have the names of the custom emojis that represent each team member, as well as their IDs in Slack and Asana in this case. So we can just add an Airtable search step to our automation to find the record based on the custom emoji's name, which we know will pull up an exact match. Then we can use the Asana ID retrieved here to assign the right person to the task. We'll use largely the same process to attach the right task to the right project. In this table, we list all of the projects at the company and include their exact names and IDs in Slack and Asana, so we know the lookup will work reliably. With an operational database, you don't just go from app A to app B. You can search the database for any data you need, send it to other apps, and update the database with the latest information. Gone are the days of your automation being limited by the data retrieved in your trigger. Just store any data you need in the operational database to conveniently access it whenever you want from any automation. And with linked records, you can associate data in one table with data from another table. So even if you add more and more information, you can keep the whole database neat and organized, with one table for people, one table for tasks, one for projects, and so on. You don't need to worry about a given Zapier trigger or action not having the right data, because you can simply find it all with a search step. Unlike a simple lookup table in Zapier, you can refer to this database from any number of automations on any number of automation platforms and include as many attributes as you want. Plus, you don't need an additional subscription like Zapier Tables just to put this database together. The free plans of Airtable and SmartSuite are more than enough to get started. However, an operational database is more than just a glorified lookup table. With views and filters, you can use an ODB as a control center for your automations, embedding the logic of which automation runs and when seamlessly into the data. I'll share an example of this with you in a moment, but there's a ton of possibilities that open up when you start using an ODB, and I won't be able to cover them all in this video, not even close. If you'd like to take a deeper dive into creating automated workflows with advanced strategies like the ones I'm covering in this video, I'd encourage you to sign up for XRay's upcoming workflow design course. The course will include over 2 hours of video lessons and guided activities that will show you how to plan, design, and build time-saving automations with techniques like an operational database. The course will be live later this year, and you can sign up for free right now to join the waiting list. Just go to course.xray.tech to learn more and sign up. Now let's get back to our ODB and Airtable. Another useful aspect of an ODB is that you can launch automations whenever a record enters a specified view or meets certain conditions. This is a very flexible trigger that gives you a lot of options for controlling your workflows and can help you build modular automations that avoid redundancies. For instance, our main task creation automation triggers in Zapier whenever a record enters the create task view in our database. So whenever we want to add a new method for creating tasks, we don't need to add steps that create tasks every single time. All we need to do is add the information into Airtable, and then the main automation that we already built will take over. So we can have one automation that collects data from Slack, one that collects data from a form, and one that collects data from an email inbox. They all send their data to the operational database, which launches a single automation that actually creates the task. This is a much more scalable, maintainable approach than building 3 fully separate automations, and you don't need to mess around with subzaps or webhooks to do it. And on top of that, you can also use your database to create indefinite delays, like we demonstrated in an earlier Zapier tutorial. You can find that on screen now or in this video's resources board in the description. With an ODB, you can also create several smaller automations that run on demand or transform data however you want with a formula field. And, well, a lot more than that too. Like I said, there just isn't enough time to cover it all today, but I hope this has given you a taste of what this technique can do for you and your automations. Building simple, straightforward automations in Zapier or Make is a good way to get started, but creating great automated workflows requires a bit more. It's all about thinking beyond the linear and embracing the power of a well-crafted database. With an operational database in Airtable or SmartSuite, you can get all of the data you need in one place to build dynamic automations that support your entire team. You can control when each automated action runs, and you can avoid creating redundant automations that all basically do the same thing. Essentially, with an operational database, you can build complete systems instead of just building automations. Now, this is all really just scratching the surface of what an ODB can do. If there's anything else you'd like to know, please just ask. I love talking about this stuff, so leave a comment down below. I'll do my best to answer your question, and if there's an interesting enough or popular enough topic, we just might make another video about it. If you've enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe for more automation tips every single week. If you'd like to learn more about low-code automation and workflow design, follow us on LinkedIn, Twitter, or Facebook, and you can find all of our content on our website at xray.tech. You can find all those links in the resources board down below, and as always, find your focus and stay in flow.